Hello friends, welcome to Technique. This is Nirmal here and you're watching the detailed camera review of the new smartphone from Realme, the Realme X3 launched recently. The new Realme X3 comes with a quad camera setup with 64 megapixel primary sensor and 16 megapixel dual selfie camera. So let's dive deep into the camera to see how it performs for the price segment it is being offered. If this is your first time, do hit that red subscribe button and also hit the bell icon to get notified of all the videos we publish. Now coming back to the review, let's first have a look at the hardware offer. In terms of camera hardware, the Realme X3 packs a quad rear camera with 64 megapixel primary camera with f1.8 aperture and Samsung's GW1 sensor. You also get a 12 megapixel telephoto lens which can do 2x optical zoom and up to 20x digital zoom. There is also an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle lens and a 2 megapixel macro sensor. There is also an LED flash included. There is stabilization offered for the primary camera. Now the front camera is a 16 megapixel f2.1 aperture and a secondary 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera. So let's find out how the camera performs. First let's have a look at the video quality. The phone can shoot 4K videos in 30 and 60 fps and the quality looks good. While the colors are okay and there is good sharpness levels in the video, the stabilization isn't the best. While it does a decent job, the stabilization seems to be a bit jittery in nature. The same is the case with 1080p resolution at 60 fps. The video quality is good and the colors are also quite okay. When it comes to 1080p at 30 fps, we felt that the stabilization needs a bit more tuning as it was a bit too shaky for a 25K smartphone. The good thing is Realme is offering stabilization across all formats, which is a good thing. The ultra-wide-angle camera can also record videos in 1080p resolution with stabilization. The quality is strictly average and the video looks a bit too soft in nature. The phone can also record slow-motion videos in 240 fps, 480 fps and 960 fps. The 960 fps ultra slow motion seems to be too noisy and better to go with the 480 fps. Now moving on to the photos. The daylight shot taken with the 64 megapixel camera came out quite well. The colors are vivid and the sharpness levels are also quite okay. But is it good enough for a 25K price device? Maybe it needs improvement. As you can see from the zoomed photos, there is quite a bit of noise even in daylight conditions with the 64 megapixel shooter. The dynamic range is also quite okay. While the colors are good, it can get slightly vivid at times, but it isn't saturated, which is kind of good considering Realme has worked on it. There is also a dedicated 64 megapixel mode which takes images in higher resolution, but we did not see any major difference here. The 12 megapixel telephoto lens can take up to 20x hybrid zoom, but it is usable up to 5x where it retains good details. The 8 megapixel ultra wide angle shots came out pretty decent. While it's not as good as the primary camera, it is still usable. The colors are also pretty good, but there is a bit of color aberration towards the edges. The close-up shots taken with the camera was good and it had good details and sharpness levels. But here Realme messes out with the colors. Once again the images are saturated and does not provide natural colors. The focusing speed was quite good and we do not have any issues here. The phone has a 2 megapixel macro sensor and this is again probably a disappointing aspect as the colors are totally off even though it offers decent sharpness levels. Now moving on to the portrait shots. We felt that the portraits are really good. The skin tones are good and the sharpness levels are also impressive. The edge detection is once again very much accurate with the Realme X3. Next, moving on to the low light captures. With f1.8 aperture, the phone can take some good images in low light but with artificial indoor lights. The colors are good and there is decent sharpness levels too. But when light drops further, in extreme conditions you can clearly see the noise. But the details aren't bad though. There is night mode on offer. Turning on makes the images more detailed, but it makes the images saturated as well, which we didn't like. We feel this has to be improved for a phone in this price segment. Now moving on to the selfie camera. The 16 megapixel shooter can take some good selfies with good details and sharpness levels. The dynamic range is also good. The 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera can also take some really good group selfies. We turned off the beauty mode since we like selfies without the beauty mode. Also, selfies are more of a personal choice, so you can judge based on the clarity offered. The phone also comes with portrait mode, and here again the edge detection is good. Overall selfie experience on the Realme X3 is definitely good. So this is a video sample taken with the Realme X3, which can record videos in 1080p resolution, and there is also stabilization available, so you can judge yourself how good the clarity of the video is, and also the audio output from the front camera on the Realme X3. So this is the ultra steady mode on the Realme X3's front camera. So you can see how good the stabilization is with the ultra steady mode. So we are just walking right now, so you can judge yourself how good the ultra steady mode works. So this is the ultra wide angle selfie camera sample taken with the Realme X3. So you can see how good the experience is on the Realme X3 front camera with ultra wide angle camera turned on. So summing up, how good is the Realme X3 performance in terms of the camera? While the camera hardware on the Realme X3 is good, the overall quality offered is kind of disappointing for a camera which is priced around 25,000 in India. We feel Realme hasn't really worked on the camera aspect for this device, and there are a number of cost cutting done in this device. While camera isn't bad, we expect better performance for this price segment considering it has a good hardware. So what do you guys think about the camera on the Realme X3? Do share in your thoughts in the comment section. This is Nirmal signing off with a camera review of the Realme X3. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. Do hit that like button and also hit the subscribe button for more videos. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.